Hello guys, welcome to Trust Stitches. After this video, you will be able to make a bishop sleeves that looks like this with stretchy cuff and with non-stretchy cuff. Now I'm going to teach you guys how it is. Now guys, you can see my paper pattern, my wrist, my elbow, my bicep area. Now this is the basic sleeve I will be working on for this tutorial. You can see guys. Now what I'm going to do now, you are going to check what you have at the wrist. I have 8.5 inches. That is at my wrist. Now guys, I'm going to remove, because this is a long sleeve pattern, I'm going to remove the cuff. You can see the cuff there. That is how the length you want the cuff to be. But for this tutorial, I want the cuff to be sort of like 2.25 inches. You can see guys. Now this is the rate. I have 2.25 inches for the cuff. You can see guys. Now this will be my wrist, because I've cut out the wrist I'll be working on. That is the cuff length. Now at my bicep area, I'm going to slash it, because now we are going to slash it down. You can decide to slash it at the bicep area. If you do that, it really looks like this. You can see how it is. That is from the bicep area. But for this tutorial, I don't want it to be bicep. I'm going to come down at my bicep area and it will look like this, sort of like fitted at the armhole. Then you can see, then I've used 1.5 inches. I came down by 1.5 inches at my bicep area, because I don't want you to slash towards that bicep, that is towards my armhole line. Now after that, you check what we have here. I have sort of like 6 inches, that is 12 inch. Now we are going to slash and spread. Now firstly, you go for the slash method. I'm going to slash it by 3 inches. Now you can see that is 3 inches slashing. Then I'm going to slash it down. I like to go with 1.5 1 inch. That's how you want this slash and spread to be. But for me, I just use 3. Then at my wrist area, I'm going to mark the 3 inches. What I did for the bicep area, that is below my bicep area, I'll also do that for the wrist, because we are going to slash it down. Now guys, you can see how it is. I came down from my bicep area by 1.5, because I don't want it to be that slash towards my armhole. I want it to be fitted at that bicep, then slash below it. Now guys, you can see what I did. So I'm going to find this fresh new paper pattern. You can see that I'm going to place it, because what I will do here is just like guideline, sort of dive. While slashing, you won't make any mistake, or you don't want it to be that slash. Now this is 6 inches. That is what I have at my bicep. Then I'm going to mark it at my wrist. That is the 6 inches that I want to use. You can see guys. So that's sort of like guideline. So I'm going to mark 6 inches out on the fresh paper that I put out, that I placed rather. You can see guys. Then 6 inch. Now from the bicep area, check what you have. I have 6, because I want it to be equal like this. Now I'm going to rule it, just sort of like guideline. After this video, you are going to understand what I want to use this fresh paper to do. Then just rule it, just make a line like this. You can see guys, sort of like this. Yes, sort of like this 90 degree rather. Now guys, now I've made this line just of like guideline. I'm going to bring it out with my marker so that you can see it clearly what I did on. Yes, you can see guys. Now I'm going to keep that aside. Now after that, you can see my paper. That's my back to the sleeve pattern. That is the bishop pattern. Now you can see that I use this basic sleeve to cut out the bishop. Now what you're going to do now is just to cut it out. Then not that you cut it through. Watch what I do at my bicep. Now I just cut it not all through. You can see I stop at the edge, then at the middle I cut it through. You can see what I did. Then at the both side, that is the 3 inches side, I'm going to cut it like this. But I didn't cut it through. What I did for the bicep, You can see now I've slashed it. You can see what I have. Now I've slashed it. Then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place it back on that fresh paper. Yes, guys, I know you'll be wondering what I'm going to use this fresh paper today. Now you can see what I did, because while opening it, like while spreading it, I want to follow the guideline. Or maybe in case of you don't want the slashing again, you don't want it to go beyond, maybe you want the side to be fitted, that is because of this guideline that I did. Now guys, I'm going to spread it like this. That is maybe less voluminous or more voluminous. That's how voluminous you want it to be. But for me, what I'm going to do now is just I want to spread it sort of like 2.5 inches. I don't want the spreading to be that. You can go it less voluminous or more voluminous. That's how you want it. But for me, I use 2.5 inches for ease. Now guys, if you check what I have here, I have 2.5 inches for each spreading, and I've laid it well. Now what I'm going to mark here is now I'm going to mark 2 inches for the belt in case you want it like button. You can see you want it button like this. You can see what I have here at that cuff, the button. That's what I did. Now guys, don't forget to click on that subscribe button and click on that notification bell to notify you whenever I post a new video. Now guys, I'm going to just mark it out like this. What that I did is that I just want it to come out a little bit. Then you can see what I did. Then I put all my seam allowance through. You can see 2.5 inches. Check what you have. I want it to drop down at that down. I want the sleeve to be like this. You can see that at my wrist it dropped down. That's why I drop it down like half inches towards the down of the wrist. You see what I have. After dropping it down, then I just put my half inches seam allowance. I want it to be dropped down at the wrist, sort of like style, just stylish style. Now guys, after that I have something that looks like this. I'm done with this pattern. Now let's go for the cuff. Remember what we have for the cuff. I cut out 2.25 inches for the cuff. Then my wrist, I have 8.5 inches at my, you can remember when I started the video, I checked what I have at the wrist is 8.5 inches. Then what I cut out is 2.25. Then that's what I'm going to rule on this fresh paper. That will be the cuff. Then the type of cuff I want to do now is the cuff for non-stretchy fabric. It's not stretch, it's not drawing, it's not stretch. So you can see what I have. That's how that is the reason why I use the 8.5 inches that I removed. You can see guys, now the cuff I'm cutting now is cuff for non-stretchy fabric. Then after that I'm going to add my button. You know, in case of you want it to be button, I added half inches at both sides, maybe for those buttons just to lap together. There you can see I'm going to indicate this my button hole and where I'm going to place the button. Then after that guys, then I'll add my seam allowance through half inch seam allowance. Remember at the up I'm not going to add any seam allowance because it's cut on fold. I didn't fold it, so I don't need to add seam allowance. Remember, when placing it on your fabric, you have to fold your fabric because this is cut on fold. Now guys, I hope you guys are enjoying me. Don't forget to click on that subscribe button for me because it means a lot to me. Now guys, I'm going to indicate it's cut on, if I don't know, maybe you guys can see it clear, but what I wrote there is cut on fold, because while placing it on my fabric I'm going to fold my fabric. Yes guys, now you can see what I have. This is for non-stretching fabric. Now guys, after that I'm through with the cuff. Then the next cuff now is cuff for stretching fabric. That is fabric that is drawing, remember, like those lycra fabric. Now guys, the cuff now, but for this I'll just go straight. I want to opening that I'm not cutting this on fold, is folded, so I'm using 5 inches. You can see this 5 inches by 7. The reason why I use 7 inches, you can see the cuff right there at that picture. The reason why I use 5 inches 7 inches is I've deducted 1.5 out of my wrist because it's stretchy fabric, it can easily enter. And after that I add on my seam allowance. So now I'm going to fold this into 2, so I've cut it together. Then I remove 1.5 inches from the cuff. Now guys, you can see what I have there. It's so quick and super. Remember, the call for folded, and don't forget to click on that subscribe button and follow us on IG at Trust. See you in my next video. Bye.